Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of Better Call Saul Season 6, Episode 3. This episode is titled Rock and Hard Place, and I'm just going to be honest from the start here. I am shell-shocked. My mind is blown. I am confused. I'm actually kind of still in denial that just happened.
It was crazy. I mean, I did not see this coming. We are only in episode 3,
Yeah,
and if this has already happened, everything with Nacho, then I cannot imagine what the rest of the season is going to look like.
yeah. Like, massive spoiler alert. Okay? All right. I thought Nacho, if he was going to die in Better Call Saul, I thought second half of the season, maybe episode, I don't know, 9, 10, somewhere. Like, if they were going to kill him, I didn't necessarily think it was going to be, in the series finale because there's so much other stuff they got to attend to. But episode 3, this, I mean, it's a phenomenal episode. But it's a really sad episode. I mean, my heart for Nacho, I mean, I already felt for the guy, but still.
Oh, it was a rough episode. We'll get more into that.
Yeah.
Before we do, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are here every Monday after the episode, talking about the episode, and every Wednesday we're going to be bringing you a preview for what's to come. So hit that subscribe button and make sure you don't miss out.
Okay, just I have so much. It's weird because Nacho is a guy who's done a lot of really reprehensible things through Better Call Saul, but he's such a human character. It's like he never was all about this life in the way that some other people were. He wanted to take care of his dad. Like he had all these different forces in his life, and I hate that it ended like this for him.
That phone call to his dad. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. I knew it. I knew that that's kind of where we were going when he had a chance to make a phone call to like hide, save himself, get someone to come and help him, like anything. And the first call he made was to his dad where he was just like, I just need to hear your voice. I just, want to talk to you, like he needed sort of that stability or that reason to go through with then making the call to Mike because he knew it wasn't going to go well.
I think what makes this even harder is just knowing everything that Nacho did, even in like the first 2 episodes, to try to find a way to get out of this situation. And then in this episode, like the opening sequence of this was just so phenomenal and so well shot. It's all this sort of stuff. I kept feeling, okay, Nacho's still in this. He's still got a chance. He's still being able to hide out. He's doing this, that, or this. No, no. And then it's just like the show just like smacked me upside the head and was like, what are you thinking, dude?
No, same. I felt like, he went through everything hiding in that oil tank all day, all night, waiting to try to escape, and finally gets out and finally has a chance. And then it's like he agrees to die for his dad. And it's just, I was wondering all this time, like, as we were going through all the motions, and Mike's offering him food and a drink and then a beat up. And then he's like, even when he was driving there and he had that glass in his hand, I was wondering, like, is he gonna like try to throw everybody in the bus and run off? Like, is he about to start something really big? Like, he's gotta escape. Not even close.
Credit to, I mean, I guess Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould for this because I just felt even through the entirety of this episode, even when he was doing the phone call, even when he was sort of having his metaphorical last meal, like every moment of this episode, I felt in my soul that he was going to survive. Even when Mike was like in his sniper position here, anytime we see sort of a crazy situation like this happen in a movie or a TV show, somehow the character like Nacho almost always finds their way out of it. And that's still what I thought was happening. I just thought, okay, somebody's going to have a different endgame for him. There's still enough time. There's still other opportunities for him to be involved in this. Nacho is a smart character. He can be an asset to people depending on how you choose to use him, but ain't nobody using him now.
That's the problem is, Gus had him as an asset for a very long time. And even when Mike, had before said, it's time to let him go, he's fulfilled his duty. And Gus was like, no, why would I give up an asset sort of thing? But now he's in this situation where he has to. There's no other way to really make things right with Hector to show that he's there for him. But Oh my God, the way that Nacho went out, it was just like, I would do it all again. I was hired by Alvarez. I would do this even if I wasn't. I'm the reason you're in that wheelchair. I did this to you. And, this guy, no, Gus, he'd saved your life. I never would have. And I was just like, whoa, here we go.
Okay, I have some questions for the Emmy committee here with Michael Mando because, okay, he's only in a few episodes. Does this make him a guest star? If so, he should win the guest star Emmy. I almost prefer that because I don't need him to go into contention with Giancarlo and Jonathan Banks and these other people, but he has been so unbelievably good, and at times I don't feel like this show had really given Nacho enough. Like in some of those middle seasons, I think he kind of gets a little bit lost, and so for him to come out and end this way, it's sort of like Michael was channeling Nacho, where he had his big bombastic I did this and I would do it all over again moment, and showing us how freaking great he is.
Yeah, there was a moment that I was wondering if Mike was going to try to find a way to save him. I know he's in so deep with Gus, but him and Gus have not seen eye to eye on Nacho at all. And that if Nacho stepped out of line in any kind of way to do something different, if Mike was going to maybe step in, because like I said, we've seen him go against Gus and push back on Gus.
No half measures. That is the saddest way
Oh.
that I will use that phrase.
And you know what else was sad? Watching the cousins pick him up, pick up Hector, bring him over, give him a gun, and let him just like keep shooting. Nacho was just like, oh my goodness, like you went out and then this happened. I was just like, oh man, come on.
Cousins are so freaking nuts. Okay, in between the cousins and
They're great.
Hector,
They are nuts, but they're great.
all of them are great. And this is the weird psychologically messed up thing about both Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul is that these are all characters you shouldn't want anything to do with in real life. I hope I am never in a room with a Gus Fring or a Cousins or any, but yet give me all of them. Like I want to see like, years worth of stories for some of these people.
So I guess then you'd rather be a friend of the cartel than a rat?
Well, I feel like the answer is yes, because
Oh.
becoming a rat probably means I am also going to be out in the desert with Nacho at some point.
All right, let's talk about Kim.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I mean, last season, a lot of it seemed Kim's motivation to sort of get through all of this, to get that sandpiper money, was to really get Jimmy out of this trouble, to kind of be like, listen, I don't want anything to happen to you. I certainly don't want you to die. After everything in the desert, she really put a lot of plans forward to try to, stop that from happening, to be like, hey, we'll get this money. You'll have a little practice close to the courthouse. I'll have my own little practice. We'll have a house and everything will be good. This season, that is not where she is anymore. Like, I think she still wants Jimmy to be good, like, good meaning not dead.
Yeah.
But I think she's really broken bad. When she delivered this news to Jimmy of sort of what's going on and what information's come together, Lalo is dead, and what they're offering him in this fishing expedition, the way she worded that of kind of like, you can be a friend of the cartel or you could be a rat. I was like, oh, if this was Kim a few seasons ago, she'd be like, you could be a friend of the cartel or you could be free.
It's really fascinating because I think one of the questions Jimmy always asked himself is, am I bad for you, Kim? And now it's sort of the question of, is Kim becoming bad for Jimmy? Because I think they can influence each other in really troublesome ways, because I think they both have that sort of impulse to want to take things to another gear, whether it's Jimmy becoming Slipping Jimmy or Kim, who I think at this point she's highly ambitious, but I think she's also very much intent on sort of proving herself and taking down a lot of these people who think that either she is nothing or Jimmy is nothing. And I think that's a driving force with Howard. And I think here she just doesn't want to see Jimmy be defeated, especially by these people who think that he is nothing. I think she was really stuck on what was used to describe Jimmy in the past, all this just like, crass terminology.
Yeah, that the moment that she had, she heard everything and she was kind of like, called him a scumbag.
Yeah.
That's, what kind of, why would I help you at that point? That's why I understand why she came home and laid it out the way she did, which is basically don't side over here. These people haven't been good to you. You know, the cartel, the cartel's the cartel. They're not going to be great to you either. But so far, so good, kind of, sort of.
It's really funny because I think Kim is motivated in part because, she wants to protect Jimmy. She protected him in
Yeah.
part from Lalo. I think
Yep.
she's trying to protect him in some ways here too, but it's sort of like, I'm protecting you, and in protecting you, I'm also giving you to people who could possibly kill you, but I'm doing this in part because I hate so much of the way the world perceives you, and
Yep.
here are people who, for better or for worse, they do perceive him as valuable. Like, they
Yep.
appreciate his contributions to the world.
Yeah, and I think she, maybe feels that together they can not get themselves killed. I mean, Jimmy is very charismatic, he's very smart, he's able to color outside the lines to be able to find ways to get the cartel what they need, and she really believes in him that he's going to be able to do that. Where on the other side, Kim is also very smart and she's motivated and she's kind of the muscle in the situation where if, the cartel needs to be talked down, she can talk down Lalo, who's really crazy, then she can talk down anybody. And I think she's really feeling that about herself, where, you look at the other side of this and they're not really putting together a case against Jimmy. It's more against some of Lalo's, associates, but they just want to use him and that it's not really empowering him to be the best that he could be.
I think there's a lot of questions I have with Kim. Obviously, the big one, what happens to her? But in the present day, I'm really curious what she thinks her end game is going to be here in all of this, because I think Kim's a very smart person. She's a reasoned person. I think she understands that being around the cartel forever is she realizes probably the danger here a lot more than Jimmy does, because I think Jimmy is a lot more willing to fly by the seat of his pants. So I just don't know at what point she thinks she can sort of remove them from this situation and then be okay.
Well, that's the thing. I'm starting to wonder if she actually wants them to be removed
Mhm.
anymore from the situation. And she feels like together they have enough control over the situation to be able to continue to earn good money from the cartel, which would then, give Jimmy sort of that, like you said, respect, maybe not from the greatest place, but still the respect that he deserves. And with that kind of money, it puts her in a position that she can do pro bono life work for the rest of her life. She doesn't have to take on these soul sucking clients anymore that she doesn't want to because Jimmy is bringing in cartel money.
I think Kim may fashion herself a vigilante of sorts. I
Yeah.
think her and Jimmy's biggest collective problem is, we still have the dangling thread of the car tailing them from the Kettlemans, and there's that stuff that's not really coming to light right now. But speaking of
Oh
cars,
boy.
let's head on over to Howard Hamlin, who once again, you are just so uptight. Everything about this guy, I can see why it is so easy to be irritated by Howard within this world. I'm just saying.
No, it's true. I mean, do I feel bad about what's happening to him? I don't. I mean, and what's happening to him isn't good and
No.
it's not fair, but life ain't fair.
No, he's so unbelievably smarmy, and I think he doesn't realize at times how condescending he is. Like
Oh my goodness.
that conversation with him and Kim at the end of last season, that is one of the things that really flipped the switch of her, where she's sort of like, you think so little of me and you
Yeah.
think so little of Jimmy.
Yeah.
You don't really have respect. You just have a big salary and you just have a tower that you're sort of peering on over everybody with. Let's try to take you down a peg, and we're going to apparently do that by getting access to your car key.
Yeah, and we don't know a lot about where they're going with it. We already know that they've set up, this Howard does drugs deal, but no, it hasn't been convincing enough yet. So they are in this situation now that we don't know what all the plan is. Just that behind their painting, they have a bunch of stickies where they're kind of figuring out, like, okay, today is car day. We're gonna have Huel help us out with this plan where we're gonna get a copy of his car key. And then we're going to move forward from there.
I love Huel. I could watch 8 hours of Huel. Huel is one of my favorite, just underrated. I don't know if he's underrated. Everybody loves Huel, but
Yeah.
he was so great in this operation. And it was just the idea of, oh, Huel is so stealthy. You'll never even know he was there. It was just so funny, but also kind of effective. And I gotta think they're gonna use this card somehow to plant some sort of like, I don't know, drug related material on it in some way.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I will also say I really like the conversation that Huel had with Jimmy in the
Yeah.
car to kind of be like, you're a lawyer, you know, your woman's a lawyer. Like, you guys have got to be making a fairly good salary. Like, what's the point of this? And, you know, Jimmy is still trying. He's so stuck in between these two worlds
Yeah.
where he's doing these things that he knows aren't great, but he feels like he's doing it for like a sort of greater good. And he needs that to sort of continue to motivate himself in it. Because I think once Jimmy completely breaks bad and he just, you know, he's Saul and that's it. And you know that he's just gonna lose himself, so he's trying to make it like, oh, this is for the greater good, whatever. And Yule's called him out right away. I'm like, if you say so.
All of this was so beautiful. It is just like, out of everybody to be the voice of reason on this show, it is Huel, one of the most comical characters. I mean, played by a comedian in Lavelle Crawford, and all of a sudden, he gives the most like reasonable speech in this
Yeah.
entire episode that we've all been kind of wondering. And I kind of like that. I don't think Jimmy has like the clearest answer in the world to it, because I think once again, seat of his pants.
Yeah, I think he really is still trying to hold on to that little bit of light that's inside him, that he is trying to do things for the better good. And, you know, I, we know how it ends up. So we
Yeah.
know that he ends up in a situation where he's not really doing that anymore by the time we're at Breaking Bad. But, you know, we're still at that point right now where he is trying to do good by doing bad.
If there's anything we can all sort of take away from this episode, I think it really is Vince and Peter just sending off a flare into the sky, basically indicating to us that whatever assumptions you have about this final season, they're probably wrong, and we're going to hit you a lot harder than you would have ever imagined for a show that was pretty slowly paced at one point.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, this episode was incredible, but
Oh,
hit that subscribe button, guys. You know, we don't want you to miss our preview for what is coming up next or any of our other reviews. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you here next time.